You're listening to Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. Welcome back to Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. My name is Kel. And guess what, y'all? Today we're going to be on our best behavior because we have company. We have a guest today. We have Nikquan Lewis. Nikquan, how are you?
I am awesome. How is everybody? It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome. Thank you for coming on to the show. We are super stoked. You know that's a drink at Joey's, Super Stoked Vodka Coke. Okay, anyway.
I don't know if they do those no more, but
please, they do.
So Nikquan is the founder of Intimate Connections, a virtual private practice in Katy, Texas, is a licensed marriage and family therapist, licensed professional counselor, relationship and sex therapist, speaker and consultant. Nikquan is well equipped to guide others through life's complexities, and her sexual health certification in sex therapy further enhances her expertise.
Okay, say that.
She got she's like legit, like
all
the real deal.
That's what I'm
exactly what we
about.
need, right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
They bring a little structure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Nikquan, we got a couple questions for you because our audience is a lot of married folks, a lot of engaged folks, some divorced folks, and some single folks that are looking for love. Marcus, you had a question, actually. How about you start it off? What question did you have for Nikquan?
Well, yeah, I was hoping Kel wouldn't come to me first. Because, I want to get straight to the bedroom and stuff. I want to get straight to the bedroom and stuff, right? And see where people is at. No. Because that's a big part of relationships, even though we might want to hide from that or be shy, etc. But I want to know what's been the wildest bedroom request that you have helped a couple with, and how did it impact their relationship? Kind of a loaded question, but I'm hoping it could get a little nasty for our
my God, are
listeners.
You kidding me?
Of course, you're not going to say no names, et cetera, but really? I want to get right to it in a grown-up way, in an adult way, right?
You're gross. All right, go ahead.
Absolutely. Well, Marcus, I am going to disappoint you a little bit because
Oh no,
I know. Here's the thing. People think that people come to sex therapy because they busting it wide open and they want to continue to do that, right? People come to sex therapy because they're having a lot of relational issues and it's affecting the bedroom. So the population that I work with are people that maybe hanging from the chandelier and, do your thing because I'm an advocate for accessing pleasure. But there actually, in all my years, have not been too much, what I consider wild. I work with the kink population. So there's been some of that with it, like rope play and like how to create emotional safety with, that type of sexual behavior, but nothing too absolute crazy, actually.
Right. I guess what I was getting at, or what you might
say, Nikquan is a sex therapist.
Right. Well, I'm saying what you might think is that one partner may want just a bunch of crazy stuff that's off the wall and they can't get their partner to meet in the middle. So I guess that's kind of where my head was, and then be struggling in that way, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's one
I'm uncomfortable now. I'm just gonna...
What? I don't understand what's wrong with that. I think that was pretty legit, but I appreciate the feedback. So yes, thank you.
A real request. So actually, so that I do deal with, it may not be like buck wild type of thing, right. But again, that's subjective, right? So,
yes.
So I actually have a tool that I utilize. It's a checklist. It's called the yes, no, or maybe, and it's everything. And I won't say everything, but most things under the sun, as far as like sexual engagement and. I give it to both parties or all parties because I also see, open relationships, polyamory, whatever. So I give it to all parties. If this is your yes, great. If it's your maybe, fine. If it's your no, fine. And the initial goal is always to create a judgment-free zone, emotionally safe zone so that, I might not want to eat your ass. Can I say that?
Yeah, you're good.
Of course you can.
Go crazy.
You can.
Okay. I may not want to do that, But if you want that done, that doesn't mean I should just, my face and my body language and it's the I work through couples and polyamorous couples with the reaction and being open to the communication. You may not be open to the act, but let's discuss it. Don't yuck my yum.
I like that. Right? Don't yuck my yum. God damn it. That's my next shirt. I'm going to make a shirt that say that.
He writes down all of these sayings to make shirts out of that he's never going to make.
Eventually,
anyways,
I'm going to get there.
I love that. Don't yuck my yum. And I love the yes, no, maybe, because like you said, it's in a safe environment and it can start a conversation or, kind of, even though you put, if you circle maybe, just maybe.
The door's open.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's a crack and then just
maybe.
Wide open.
Yeah. A compromise.
Even on the yes or no, because there's variations of everything, right? So it's the goal is to get the communication going. And let's discuss it. I may not like this, but maybe I might do a little bit of this, right? So
yes.
I mean, like a portion of it. Yeah, just a little piece of it. I may not want the whole.
Oh my God.
But just a little piece of it. I get it.
Yeah. I want to dip my toe in it a little bit.
Yeah, just to get things started.
Nikquan, what about folks that say, because I've always heard this like saying where if you ask your partner, if you get the yes, no, or maybe, the maybe is always they'll do it, but they won't do it with you. Like, how true is that? Because I've heard that like a lot. I've heard that in like quotes. I've heard that online. I've heard people say that. I just don't know how true that actually is.
Honestly, Kellen, what that typically comes down to is not having that absolute judgment-free zone. And there's this concept, the Madonna whore complex, where if in my relationship, I feel like I need to be a lady or I need to be perceived a certain way, right? Where somewhere where I don't have responsibility or we don't have children or something like that, I may be able to bust wide open, do all the things because we don't have the responsibility. I don't look at you in that way. I'm more open and maybe I don't even care what you think about me. So I may be willing to do things with. That doesn't mean I'm going to step outside of my relationship, but I maybe feel a little bit more comfortable doing things with other people because of my role, my image in this relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It does.
It's like the whole Keke Palmer thing, right? You're a mother. Mothers don't do that. But
you're right.
Over in this arena, I can do whatever I want to, right? So
exactly.
I'm still me, and I was me before the kids, right?
Exactly.
So, can't lose yourself.
You don't change. Your leopard doesn't change its spots. You don't change just because you have a kid. I mean, some people might act like they've changed, but you're a fucking lie. Right. You're still the same.
And on both sides, I would say men and women, it's hard for change or roles to grow as relationship grows, right? And you came into the relationship and it was one way, it was this way. Okay, and now as kids, things is different. It's been, the 12, 15 years together.
Just go ahead and just say our whole shit.
Nah, this... No, this ain't us. I mean, if you feel convicted...
I guess I do, because I'm like, all right,
if you feel
Marcus.
convicted... No, I'm just saying as far as the Keke Palmer thing is what I was addressing, right? It's what I was getting at. It wasn't us. I was saying I know a guy that's going through something similar. But I'm just saying people change and people evolve and some people get uncomfortable with that.
Okay, yes.
And you just made me uncomfortable by acting like I'm
sorry
shooting at you, but
I'm gonna not take all these things personal.
Yeah. I got notes over here. I've been talking to Chat GPT and all types of shit. This ain't got nothing to do with us.
Oh my God, he's forever asking some Chat GPT something, and I'm just like, really?
Well, I have another question, is how do you think Nikquan, especially in the position, the professional position that you're in, and the people that you see, and how times have changed? Because you've been doing what you've been doing for a long time. So, like, how times have changed in the last, like, I would say, 7 to 10 years of like how social media affects the sexual climate. Is it making people have more or less sex? Is it like desensitizing people?
So that's a loaded question.
Very.
There are a lot of studies on like social media in adolescents and social media and college students. Not so much research. There definitely needs to be more research with like 30s, 40s, and how that happens. So what I see in my practice is where social media becomes a problem is when it is addictive behavior mainly. So I'm on social media, I can't get off. Now my intimacy is affected because my focus is here. Right. And so intimacy starts way before the bedroom, right? So I'm not just talking sexual intimacy. I'm talking various forms of intimacy. So it affects you that way. Intimacy is the beginning of a healthy sexual relationship. So if I'm not getting my quality time and things like that, then my sexual functioning and all of that is affected. So it affects it that way. I also see a huge lack of boundaries in relationships as it relates to social media. And that affects the sexual climate. I might not want my husband, following a bunch of big booty girls. Right. And so then that affects trust, which affects emotional safety, which affects, sexual mood, which then affects sexual functioning. Right. So there's also, on the flip side, it's giving so much access to education. And it's also giving access for those who want the big booty girls. And that does increase libido and things like that. And that does enhance that relationship. As long as it's consensual, as long as it's on the up and up, you have the positive effects, but you also can have those negative consequences as well. It really depends. It depends on so much. It depends on age. It depends on health of your relationship. It depends on trust. It depends on a lot of things. Your mental health depends on a lot. But there definitely is a correlation between social media and sexual functioning.
So about desensitization, do you think that because it's not like when we were younger and sex was very taboo and so you just wanted to do it? Mm-hmm. So you were very sexually, well, not everybody was very sexually active, but you were more inclined to be sexually active. And now, because of social media and sex being everywhere, and like you said, the education and all that kind of stuff, I think it's just kind of sexual behavior and all that kind of stuff is becoming normalized, maybe. So it's not such a push and an urge and like, I got to do something that's not talked about and all this, and like kind of experimenting. And so maybe that can contribute to your question, Kel.
Right.
That could be a contributing factor.
Absolutely.
Well. That's what
do you guys feel like at all too, though, like because of the access to social media and I don't know, not even just social media, but I guess the access to information, that sex almost isn't looked at as sacred as it used to be. Like if you look at like our parents' generation, you know what I'm saying? And like, just the value system in general, Mm-hmm. Do you agree with me? Am I I agree. Something?
It's kind of along the lines of it being taboo, but it's not taboo anymore. It's everywhere. And so it's not, even though it was considered sacred, well, it still is considered sacred, for some people. Even though it wasn't considered, even though it was considered sacred, I just think, like you said, it's just a different right. time.
I think the fact that women are taken
sexually liberated.
are kind of liberated in a way, right? Nowadays, being able to
we control it.
Speak their piece. You know, girls as players too, and all this type of stuff and language. And I think it's a good thing, right? That women can be able to speak up and speak out about it. Of course, you're going to have people that are kind of stuck in their ways and kind of on the old school vibe. I don't want that type of lady that's speaking like that. And that's cool. But just the simple fact that women are able to speak out in that way, I think makes it a safe place for everybody to express themselves, right? Am I right? I guess am I on the
You are.
Just the right page?
Absolutely.
All right. I had to check in with Boss Lady because she's the professional, right?
Your lived experience is valid for sure. But
okay.
So I want to speak to the sacred aspect. It was often talked about as a sacred thing, but there was also more so than not shame, right? That really colored our experience. I'm 40. How old am I? I'm 41. Right. And so there was a lot of shame. There was no talk about sex in general. So there surely was no talk about pleasure. Right. And what that looks like and how to prioritize that. And so today, more than ever, we're advocating, especially people in my position, how to live a pleasure-filled life. And that includes owning, your sexuality, owning various parts of you. And so I think that was a huge thing back in the day. It's just there was so much shame and stigma around, sex and what it meant.
I agree. And, I always take it back to being raised in a religious household. So it was like, my parents, how do they have kids? Because you're not supposed to have sex. Sex is talked about.
Right? Yeah.
There's shame behind it. It's, especially if you're a girl and you're having sex before you're married, it's dirty. You're, looked at as a hoe sometimes and all that kind of stuff. And so my question for you, Nikquan, is how did you become sexually liberated and kind of shield off that shame and, break free?
So I am a teen mom because I won't say because I want to do what I want to do, but also because of what you just described, right? There was no, we're not even going to talk about it. I put myself on birth control, right? Because I wanted to do what I want to do. Well, my mom went in my purse and she took my pills. There was no conversation. She just took my pills as if that's going to stop me, right? And it didn't, clearly, because my daughter is 23. And so I got into this because I wanted to interrupt the unhealthy patterns, the generational dysfunction. The buck, it stops with me. And so I want to teach all Black women, young girls, about the importance of sex is not dirty. Sex can be absolutely beautiful with consent, right? When you're ready, motion regulation, all the things. And so I got into this work because of that experience, being a teen mom and not learning about consent, not learning about, pleasure and any of those things. So I want to make sure that I do my part for people to have a different experience.
Right. So do you think, like you said, knowing pleasure, right? Do you think, because a lot of women can't achieve orgasms, right? I can't remember the percentage. I saw it or, have a lot of trouble. Do you think it's for that reason? Because of the shame and because of not knowing, the understanding the pleasure of sex and all of that kind of stuff. Do you think that might contribute?
So that's a loaded question. First is, so orgasm tends to be at the focus of everyone's brain. I want to have an orgasm. And then you hear, did you come? Did you come? Did you come? Like, y'all don't beat them dudes. But don't nobody want to hear that, like, get out my business.
Right.
The orgasm is one way to experience pleasure. Just one way. It's one way. And because that is the goal, it's the golden ticket in people's minds, that puts people under a lot of pressure. Now we're talking about performance anxiety, right? And men experience it, and it affects their erection, and women experience it, and it affects, wetness. By the way, everybody should be using lubrication, but we'll get into that. But
okay, that's another conversation.
Lubrication is not just for dryness. It is for pleasure. It's absolutely for pleasure. So, but the orgasm is, this golden ticket. And so there's a lot of women, 80% of women experience orgasm through clitoral stimulation. Meaning, there's a lot of us that do not experience it from penetration. Because also penetration is not the only form of sex. And so it's important to be open to exploring all erogenous zones, because you can have orgasms from various types of sex, not just penetration. Right. So prioritizing pleasure should be the goal, not just the orgasm. But it's you got anatomy that could be an issue for some women. You have, hormonal issues.
Yes.
So there's several things that can attribute to a lack of orgasm, including that performance anxiety. Because I'm focused on this orgasm, I'm not in my body, I'm in my head.
Right.
I'm experiencing, how I'm being touched, the sensations, the smells. Right? Mm-hmm. On mindfulness.
Right.
This is why we need you everywhere.
This is pretty damn good.
Because there's so much misinformation. Like you said, starting with the lubricant. We've been taught, or at least when I was growing up, you're just wet, and it just woo, and it's just
the Aquafina. Go to hell. Like
it makes for a better experience when you're lubed up.
Absolutely.
Right? For him and for the woman.
Absolutely.
So
amen.
Jesus Christ. And
there's so many different types. Like, why not enhance the experience? There's a lot of shame with that. I hear that all the time. I work with people who feel like, with partners, no shade at all, but typically men, and they feel like they almost take it personal when lubrication is introduced, when it is 100% for pleasure, especially given the position that you're in.
Marcus and Jessica, would you ever hang a swing in your room?
Well,
a portable swing is what we do.
Well.
Okay, so there's one there.
Don't be shamed.
I'm the one that's still breaking free. Okay, right here. We have one that goes on the door, so it's not necessarily. It's like a apparatus, like a floating type thing.
Yeah,
so,
but it like hangs on the back of the door.
Yeah,
that's interesting. Okay,
and you're literally put in it, and the girl is like this, and you can't really do anything else but just stay like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Yeah. Hey, the swing is good.
Spice it up.
Yeah.
Bedroom Candy has a great one.
Who?
Bedroom Candy.
Oh,
that's where I got mine from. I saw it on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Shout out. Cynthia Bailey was in there, right? They were in. I went directly to Bedroom Candy, Candy Coated Nights, and bought that door swing.
Right.
So
I just feel like, especially like when you're at the age that we're all at, early 40s or me late 30s, whatever the case. Like life is too.
You had to throw that in there, right?
I had to throw that in there. But I just feel like soon. I just feel like life is too short to have bad sex.
I feel
like you know
or
what
to
I'm
be
saying?
Scared or to be nervous or like, especially when you've been with somebody for a long time. Yeah.
Right. Especially if you're married too. Like, because I've known quite a few married people who they're weird. And it's like, oh my God, I wouldn't do that. I would never try that. I wouldn't even think about it. I'm like, what, are you guys just having missionary sex all the time? Like, Jesus Christ, this is why you guys don't get along. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like you got to just
It's a lot of pressure out there though, Kale. It's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of hurt and trust ain't there. All the things that we've talked about, and when it comes to sex and intimacy, it starts before the bedroom. That's just what you said, and so
you gotta fuck my mind.
Yeah, some of the stereotypes, right? Have you ran into a lot of men? I know you talked about the lube thing and some men being offended by that. Have you ran into a lot of the social stereotypes from men, I guess, on how to be, I guess, like a man's man in a relationship?
You guys learn from fucking
I know,
hip rap.
But that's what I'm saying. Popular culture, is that like a big thing in a lot of your therapy sessions, or in I guess the people you deal with? Okay.
Yeah, a lot of like toxic masculinity. I won't say a lot, but some. And then sexually, a lot of people who learn from porn, social media, like, because you can watch porn on there, and they have just a very unhealthy view of what being a husband is. Some women too, right? Being a wife, what sex is. They want the theatrics and things like that, when a lot of shit is just not, it's not real. None of it
right.
real.
It's not real.
Porn is the worst place to learn your next trick in the bed.
Right. I mean, sometimes it's the only place for a lot of people. It's the only place in a lot of situations.
Like, from porn and in porn. And it's like,
I mean, especially as young men.
We had the VHSs back in the day. Yes. Okay. But like,
you definitely don't know what you're doing and you think that's it.
Right. But you think about it like as an adult, and like, if you know anything about the porn industry, it's all extremely produced. It's all fake. So it's like, that's like the worst place. That is the last place you need to learn how to have sex, is watching a fucking porn. You know,
as a kid, you're like, no, that's how it's supposed to be. I got to do it like that. They use lube and all types of.
Well, I see. Never mind.
All types of foolishness.
I mean, I know, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, bringing it back to the couples with who just do missionary position. Okay, Nikquan, is that why you see? So when they come in and they're complaining about, or they need help, do you really think that people are just having sex in missionary position, or just very basic sex, or are people kind of lying about that or covering it up because of shame and taboo and all that kind of stuff?
Oh no, they are absolutely, some people only doing missionary 100%, because you have people that they've never been with anybody else. They're not experienced. They don't watch, porn and things like that. And it's called vanilla sex. And if it's not a problem, it's not a problem, right? That's
I was going to say that.
Then that's what they enjoy, right? I might help them too if they want to expand their repertoire, right? Then I may assist them with that. But you have people that are very happy with vanilla sex, and do your thing.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I'm not surprised at that one.
If you've never had anything else, then
I mean, you don't want like a little bit of Rocky Road, or like or some Neapolitan or something.
I'm saying there's some people that they get down like that, and that should be okay. That's their that's just their makeup, and that's where they're at. They're pretty vanilla, and it carries over to everything else they do in the rest of their lives, right? So sex isn't any different. So, but if it works for them and everybody's okay, I guess if they come in to see you, they probably do got an issue. But in most situations, if somebody liked the missionary, that's their thing, and that's how they get down, and it works for them. So I can't be mad at it.
Imagine you being experienced, right? And then you've met the love of your life, right? And they're this very inexperienced sexual person. Like, to me, Nikquan's the first person I'm calling, because I'm like, Nikquan, I need help figuring this out. Because like, to me, that's my idea of hell. Like, if I'm with someone that has zero experience, like, I mean, and like, there's nothing wrong with virginity and being a virgin if that's your thing, whatever. But like, I was never the dude that was like, oh yeah, I want me a virgin. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, you need to know what you're doing, because like, I can't sit here and be with somebody. Let's say she's giving me oral sex or whatever, and she's just, and I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, that just sounds miserable to me.
scrape and
the scraping across and all that. Yo, no teeth. Whoa, too much teeth. Like, as a dude, like I've been there before. Like, that shit's not fun.
I would raise you this though, Kel. I would raise you this. Some dudes get off on being, I guess, the teacher or the person that's gonna turn this person out or be the first or be whatever,
pop
right?
Culture,
yeah.
This is what
you know, I taught you this and I'm doing all this stuff.
Tight, no, loose,
there's dudes that's on different stuff, man, and that's okay. Of course, I'm not hating on nothing, but everybody's a little different, and shoot, I guess that's how a lot of people get down.
This is the kind of stuff that needs to be talked about. Yeah. Like you being a virgin, you're not having the best sex of your life, or you're not giving somebody the best sex of your life. You got some experience under your belt, being like cougar age like me.
Hey, you working that thing? Yeah. But you experience.
Right. Oh, God.
One of the first assignments I give couples in general, whether they're coming to me for sex therapy or marriage counseling, is to define a shared definition. Come up with a shared definition of a healthy sex life. I'm all about shared definitions. So I talk to them about trust, respect, boundaries, shared definitions for all the things, right? But when it comes to sex, what does a shared definition of a healthy sex life look like? I'm talking frequency. I'm talking, positions. Like, let's talk about it. Toys, like all the things. What does your ideal sex life look like? And now we got to create a bridge. Because if you want to have sex 7 days a week and somebody else wants one, now we got a problem, right? So where's the compromise that represents both of you?
Right.
Yeah. How do you meet in the middle at that one? Because I know plenty of people that have had to deal with that one where it's like he wants to have sex 3-4 times a week and she might want to have sex once a month. Like where do you even start with that?
Yeah. When does it become like you said, the frequency of sex? Because, this is like the age old topic. How often? What's the average? How often should you be having sex? Like, is once a month good? Like, that kind of, so what do you think?
So again, if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. You have couples that don't have sex for whatever reason, could be disabilities, could be, whatever. And if it's not maybe they're asexual. If it's not a problem, it's not a problem. For couples that do want to have sex, a sexless marriage is defined as having sex less than once a month. Once a month. Once a month, you're qualified as a sexless marriage. And so now,
Jesus.
What works for the couple, that is the goal. So if it's twice a month and it works, cool. If you want 7 times a week and this person wants one, it's about compromise. Nobody's going to be 100% happy with that number, but where can we meet in the middle? They're both of us feel heard.
Right.
I'm not just doing things solely because I don't want you mad at me or something like that, right? I work with a lot of couples that are being very reactive and very transactional. I'm doing things to manage your emotions versus I want to please you, but also I want to prioritize my pleasure as well.
Right. Yeah. When I'm down there doing the dishes, man, make sure the kids is good. Make sure the kids is good, man. Make sure the garage is clean. That's
ain't no wrong with that.
Yeah.
Could keep doing it.
No, but I'm saying, I definitely feel you. And you're saying that it should not be transactional in that way. And the meet in the middle, I probably could understand that could be hard for some people, right?
He had to meet in the middle.
Yeah, it's a challenge for a lot of couples.
It's a conversation, though. It's a conversation and communication, though, because you can't read my mind. I can't read yours, right? So we need to talk about this thing. And that's okay to meet in the middle. I had to grow up, of course, and I had to understand that. But that's the communication. We're open.
Yeah.
And just our communication has been pretty good.
That's what a healthy sex life. Right. You know, good marriage is about communication on all levels.
Right. Yeah.
So
I have another question about this, because like the once a month, 12 times a year thing is just blowing my fucking
12
mind.
12 times a year. Yeah, that's tough.
So, because I feel like that can open up a Pandora's box, because it's like, all right, I'm having sex once a month. So then let's say it's the lady that wants to have sex once a month, because that's a lot of times usually how it is. It's like the guy is the one that's
be careful,
like, let's do it, right?
Yeah, you don't want the women coming for you, so I'm gonna just say it for us. No, you got to be careful.
No, that is probably literally a fact.
But like, doesn't that lead to things like, all right, well, we don't have as much sex, so now he masturbates more. And now, since he masturbates more, he watches more porn now, or he
domino effect.
Tries to do other things to try to like find excitement, like, I don't know, hire prostitutes, escorts, like all that kind of shit. Like, have you seen that, Nikquan? Like, does that open up that door to that dark place where I don't think anyone wants to go or be?
So oftentimes, people are coming to me is because they're not talking about it. And a lack of communication opens up a lot of dark doors, right? It's the foundation of hell. And so if we cannot meet on a common ground with a healthy sex life, then yeah, it does attribute to more masturbation and things like that. Now, when you think about things like infidelity, people believe that, it can attribute to that. But at the same time, I'm sticky on that, because if you're not happy in a relationship and you've communicated, you've done all you can, then you also have the option of leaving, of communicating that this is not working for you, right? So because cheating becomes an option for a variety of other reasons. But can it lead to other behaviors? Absolutely. That's why you want to communicate about it, and also come from a place of understanding, curiosity. What is it about this one time a month? Are there health issues? Everybody should be, Kel, you're almost 40. You guys are 40. Everybody needs to be getting their hormones tested. Everybody. Testosterone, progesterone, right? All those things. You need your hormones tested, because we are definitely at the age where, things start to, fluctuate. And that attributes to sexual functioning, So you need to, is it health? Is it mental? Is it stress? Stress is a huge libido killer. Also, so many couples do not understand, and we just weren't taught this. So as the seasons change, the way that I communicate to my partner that I want sex changes sometimes. And so my desire, I may have spontaneous desire, meaning that I just, back in my 20s, right? Frisky for no reason. Don't need nothing. Just frisky. I could just bust it wide open real quick, right? But later on, sometimes I have responsive desire. It's a different type of desire, spontaneous versus responsive desire. And couples don't know to talk about this. So responsive desire means I need to be stimulated. I need to be physically stimulated. And then the desire, then the libido happens. It starts to get activated, right? And so you got couples that are not connecting. They're not hugging. They're not doing a lot of touching at all, right? And so, but I just expect, well, why don't you think about sex? What's wrong with you? Nothing. This person just needs responsive desire, and then they get turned on. But they're not talking about this, what turns them on. And so they don't know. And now couples are not having sex.
Good point. That was good. That was good. Scary, that was
actually, but I get it, man. Good. And I guess from a man's perspective, don't look like that. I'm just saying though, like as far as and I'm speaking, I guess, for the masses to expect certain things and sometimes not really so into things or put the work in and just think, okay, because I'm me and this is how it is, it could kind of be a thing, right? So
Nope, missing your point.
No, well, I'm saying, okay, your lady's going to be ready just because. It doesn't always work like that, right? And you got to do things. It starts, and we just talked about this. It starts before the bedroom, right? In your mind and all this other stuff. So, a lot of it is immaturity, I believe, as a young man and being attached to popular culture and all that kind of stuff. So you got to learn and you got to go through things and you got to have conversations about it. It's all about communication, 100%. And sometimes you learn from taking an L, right? You're right. And you just got to go from there and you grow from it and you don't take it personal. And then you just figure out how to get to the promised land. I kind of went roundabout, but
I get what you're saying.
Right.
So the responsive part, is that just physical touch? Can it be mental?
Yep.
And physical, or mental or physical? Because I'm more of a mental person. That really warms me up, right? Is the mental, shut up, you know that. It's not necessarily like the contact and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a super contact person.
I'll take that too. I'll take the little bit that you like. I know you don't like
right.
it
I'm
all,
not like, I don't like all, that's just not me. And again, I think it's from childhood, from all these things, and so there's reasons why I'm discovering this now. There's reasons why I'm not like that type of, I'm not going to, I don't want to make out and do all that kind of shit. He knows that. But yes, so I'm more of a mental. I respond with the mental. Yeah. So, right.
Yes, absolutely. Think about love language. That's a stimulant.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's the thing. So Nikquan, just in this short conversation we've had, like, it has been so fruitful and you've given so many gems and just information that I feel like we can all use in our relationships. You got some products that folks can use at home. So tell us more about how do you want it?
Yes.
Say what?
Oh, yes. Listen. So all these things that we talked about, I created products because, especially in our community, there's a lot of us that don't go to therapy, right? So I want to create a product or a product line for people to do the work at home, because a lot of us did not learn how to build healthy relationships growing up. We didn't have that model, right? And so we've been doing the best that we can with what we know. And sometimes and oftentimes it's wrong. And it's not building the healthy relationships. So we also, nobody's talking about pleasure. Nobody's talking about sex because it's taboo and it's wrong and all the things, right? So I built products to help people to build healthy relationships and to design the sex life they deserve. Sex lives and relationships that represent who they are and not just where they come from. Because we all got stuff. Right? We all got stuff.
I love that.
And so
who they are.
Yes. So here are my how do you want it relationship and sex conversation cards. And so there's 55 cards. The first one talks about the importance of establishing a judgment-free, safe zone. Because we could talk about communication, but if I don't feel safe with you, I'm not telling you shit. Right? So there's 3 sections: healthy relationships, boundaries, and sexual intimacy. And some of my favorite cards, there's just so much that we just don't know to discuss. And so this is what the card looks like, is like define love and how it looks and feels. And these products are for individuals, but they're also for couples. Because if I can't describe what love looks like for me, how can I describe that for you as my partner? And most importantly, how am I loving myself intentionally? I'm not. Right? And so how can I come to bring my whole self to this relationship and I don't have this information for myself? And so boundaries. Oof. Define the word boundaries, first of all, and create a shared meaning. Sexual intimacy. Describe how you like foreplay. We have to teach people how to treat us, and not just romantically, but also sexually. Right? And the big one, collaborate and create a shared picture of what you both want your sex life to look like. And do you experience pain, discomfort, or have concerns with sex? We are not discussing sexual health in our relationships, and that's a problem. Yeah, I found out. True. I didn't find out, but I didn't realize until later on that my husband was, like really scared of the doctor. And that becomes a huge issue. I need to understand your belief system around health, around sexual health. Because when things, as we age, our jiggly parts, they droop, right? Somebody might need a medication, a device. What are your beliefs on it? Let's come up with a plan before it becomes a problem. Right. So my products work to build the relationships that you deserve and you desire. I also have a digital guide to intimacy. So I printed it out, but it's digital, which makes it amazing because it's evergreen. It grows with you. As you revive and revise your relationships, which we should be doing every year, you go right in that thing and you edit it. And so the questions to the cards are in here, but also places to process. Places to process for both of you. Psychoeducation. So I'm giving you the strategies to implement the work. Bonus questions, book recommendations, and more. And so the products have been transformational. They definitely have been transformational in my marriage. And they have helped so many individuals and couples to not only build self-love, but build the relationships that they're experiencing the best sex that they ever had. Because now we're clear. We're clear on what we want and we know how to implement it.
Right. And just because you've been married for a long time and you think you're like dicking or riding somebody down, like you said, you should be continually working, learning, evolving, things change, communicating, all that kind of
questions,
stuff.
Talking about
it's for
asking, checking
what
in.
What you're offering is for everybody.
Literally.
But I really wish that this was discussed at, when people are in their 20s and all of that kind of stuff, when you're really learning about your sexuality and exploring and all that kind of stuff. I think it would just help significantly.
Or it's made to be okay
for themselves. I think it is all that kind of stuff.
I think it is available, but it's not made to be okay to look at this kind of stuff. You're still coming out of your teens and you're uncomfortable and you're trying to find your way. Right?
It was available. Well, stuff like this.
Not that it was, but it's not. Well, I would say, I would think, it is available, but you come out of this teen thing and you got your parents and you got everything else, the powers that be, that's making you feel so uncomfortable about sex and intimacy and knowing yourself. You don't even know where to look, right? Or you don't even think to look.
Yeah,
you
don't even know.
And you're looking in the wrong places, right?
It's not for them, right?
Right.
You're focusing on getting life together and things like that. But it is for them because it can prevent a lot of relational trauma.
And Nikquan, what's the link to your website where folks can find your products?
It's intimateconnectionspllc.com. And I could absolutely because I'm all about our community and educating them. I would absolutely be willing to do like a discount code for the audience.
Okay, that'd be dope.
Is legit.
We'll definitely have the link to all your stuff in the show notes, so folks can find that stuff. Because I definitely think the community needs it. I think people need to be more educated the right way on their sex life, because, like we said earlier, with all the crap that there is out there, I feel like there's more people that are looking in the wrong places instead of the right.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
Nikquan, thank you so much for joining us today. This was really, really good.
Thank you so much.
This was
Agreed.
Great.
Thank you.
And where can folks find you on the interwebs and the social media and all that? Or if people just want your services and need the therapy, where can they find you?
And being a Black therapist, thank you.
Yes.
We need more of this.
Salute to that.
It hits different. Yes.
there's only 4% of us Black therapists in the United States, and there's even less sex therapists. So it was important to me to do my part when it comes to representation, because that's imperative, right? I'm getting that.
Thank you.
I am all over the place. I am, my website is intimateconnectionspllc.com. You can also see several of my publications. I attribute to, like, I'm on Essence, Glamour, Cosmopolitan. So I give expert opinions to these publications all around relationships and sex. So that's on my website, on Instagram, Intimate Connections PLLC, Facebook, TikTok, same thing. I do speaking engagements, so I'm all around. I'm starting to speak at couples retreats. And because there's so many couples panels and things like that, the summits, but there's rarely any professionals, which is interesting. So I 100% want to extend my gratitude to you all for giving, a professional this platform, because while personal experience is important and it's valid, also giving some strategy to transform their relationships is imperative also. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And I feel like you bring the science to it too, because there's just
it's
more,
everything.
There's more to it, like you said, than just personal experience. It's like, well, look, like, you should maybe go to the doctor and get that checked out.
Right.
Or maybe you should go, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that you bring the science and you bring the medical part into it, like, that is.
Yes. You are hitting on all cylinders.
All cylinders.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
But,
thank you.
But Nikquan Lewis, thank you so much for joining us. This is Truly Unruly with Marcus and Jessica Trufant. You can follow us on all things social at trulyunruly_podcast. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform. Remember to like, review, subscribe, because that helps us out a lot. Of course, you can catch the visual on YouTube by searching Truly Unruly Podcast, and catch us every Sunday on Converge. Boom. Nikquan, thank you again. Marcus, Jessica,
thank you.
This was
thank you
good.
so much.
Till next time, y'all. Peace and much love.